Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Booyah! It's time for the Game Sports Show. It is November the 1st, 2018, and you're listening to the Northern Superior Brewery edition of the Game Sports Show, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.podbean.com, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.com or on the Scott Nason YouTube channel. And we're here at Northern Superior Brewing Company enjoying some great beer brought to you by Northern Superior Brewing Company, and I'm here alongside Justin Hykel, and we have an action-packed show as always here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. Myself and Justin Hykel will be bringing you tonight's action-packed show, as Brad Cochimilio and Dane Hanchel will unfortunately not be able to join us. Dane due to the flu, and Brad due to being extremely busy with SooToday.com. Our Scott Nason will be our board operator tonight here from the Northern Superior Brewing Company edition of the Game Sports Show. And tonight on the Game Sports Show, we have Kevin Cain coming on by, and we also have John Parco, the head coach of the Soo Thunderbirds, coming on by as well. And in tonight's segment, we're going to be talking about Kevin Cain's, what he's doing now, and for Cain Hockey Management. And obviously when John Parco comes by, we're going to be talking about the Soo Thunderbirds. Myself and Justin will also do a hockey segment where we talk about the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds update and also the National Hockey League updates. And then we will conclude the show with some quick news about the new 2018 World Series champions, the Boston Red Sox, before we sign off for tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in the one and only Justin Hykel to get through this quick and dirty introduction portion of this November the 1st edition of the Game Sports Show. Justin, how you doing, my friend?
Not too bad. I thought you would have taken your costume off after last night, but no, you're still dressed up, so there we are.
Got to always dress to impress, despite if it's Halloween or despite if it's a special kind of dress day. You got to always dress nice. Or dress in the sports attire here that we do on the Game Sports Show, and if you see us on hand live on location, you'll see a great spread of how people dress. You got fancy dressing, or you got the sport attire dressing, or you got the bum dressing. And you're out there wondering what we're talking about. That is how we dress here on the show in terms of how our attitudes are based. So that's, if you know who I am coming from work, I like to dress up nice. But if I have an off day from work, I'm definitely wearing the sweatpants and the Under Armour sweater. And it's definitely long pants and sweater weather out here in Sault Ste. Marie, but it's still nice. You know, it doesn't show that there's going to be any signs of snow that's going to be sticking to the ground or coming really anytime soon. But we are still in full flight here in Sault Ste. Marie of enjoying some outdoor weather in terms of the high school football scene, with junior and seniors being underway this weekend. The junior and senior teams from Core Colts in action. Superior Heights 1 for the junior team, and at 4 p.m. for the senior team. And as we mentioned on the Halloween edition, yesterday's edition from the Sports Center Bar and Grill edition of the Game Sports Show, where we had talked about the local football scene on our In the Pocket segment. You can listen to previous editions of the Game Sports Show and keep tabs on future editions of the show by following us on the Podbean page. Make sure you're keeping track on the website and also the YouTube channel, and also newly with our Facebook page and Instagram page. Facebook, you just look up the Game Sports Show, hit like and follow, and you can be involved in winning some potential prizes weekly in terms of our sponsors, and also brought to you by our sponsors, our many sponsors on the show, and also with Instagram with at the Game Sports Show SSM. Now, Justin, we have Kevin Cain, who's waiting to come on the show. Very excited to get Kevin on. He was actually my general manager when I played hockey for the Soo Thunderbirds. He was also the person who was a part of my first ever on-air broadcast with Randy Russian's Hockey North Show that was brought to you by from upstairs at the John Rhodes Community Center, which was Chili Willie's at the time. It might even have been Brody's, I am unsure, but I'm sure Kevin will correct me on that when he comes on. But I also was on at the Hockey North Show with Randy Russin at Riverside Tavern and Blind River from when I was playing. So definitely excited to have Kevin Cain come on and talk about what he's doing now and share some stories. He's well known in the community in terms of hockey, and sadly, maybe you'll get a chuckle of that he is also a Detroit Lions fan. And then when we have John come on later, we do have some sound bites that I recorded from the weekend with John Parco, and also forward Lucas Theriault from when we update the local hockey scene here in Sault Ste. Marie. So lots to get to tonight, and we have an hour and a half approximately with the show as we're here live at Northern Superior Brewing Company at a different time at about 6:30, and we will be out of here at 8. So if you're listening to this live, make sure you come on by to say hi to us, or if you listen to us after the recording, just make sure you make Northern Superior Brewing Company a part of your day to come and have some delicious beer. Now, to listen to editions of the show that I brought forward to you in terms of that you can listen on the Podbean page and following the Facebook page, and going forward to additional shows, next week we will be at the Wicked Sister on Monday, and we'll be back at Sports Center on Wednesday, along with being at Northern next Thursday as well, and I'll get to the times of that shows near the conclusion portion of the show. So we're going to take our first break, and when we come on back, we're going to bring in Kevin Cain, who is waiting to come on in. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Game Sports Show.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Sports Center Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sports Center rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sports Center, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig. I'm alongside Justin Hykel, who is taking a sip of a nice Northern Superior Brewing Company beverage, and I'm here alongside a good friend of mine, somebody who's known me since when I was playing hockey, the life after hockey, the one and only Kevin Cain. Cain, how you doing, my friend?
Doing really well, and I knew your mom when you were born.
Oh, okay.
I worked with your mom when she went on maternity leave, so I've known of you a long time.
Did you think that I'd be as loud and talkative then as I am now? Like, did you predict that was how I'd be? Because I don't think my mother's like that.
No, your mother was a sweet... no, your dad can go a little bit.
Yeah, he could.
So, I think you're more genre of your dad, but no, your mom was just a sweet lady.
Yeah. You worked together at, was it Lions? Lions. Oh, wow. Back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, now you've moved on. You're doing Cain Hockey Management that we're going to talk about. We're going to share a bunch of stories. I know some people probably get a little kick of how I like to talk about the past a little bit, but that's what makes this show fun.
Yeah.
You know, you've listened to the show before, so you know how this works. We're just going to go back and forth, and that's how... The best thing about doing this kind of shows, we don't like to be scripted. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable. So, you know, you can be free and let you talk how you want, Kev. And I'm going to start off with you saying, how are you doing? Like, what are you doing now? And talk about Cain Hockey Management.
Well, what I do now is I represent players and families, various ages. They start pretty young and then they go up to kids. I have some guys that are East Coast League guys and stuff. So I have a wide variety. And basically what I do is I look out for them. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in hockey, as you know, David, but, the good, bad, and the ugly. And generally speaking, once you get up, in levels and age, generally people aren't looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves, whether it's coaches or whatever. And so it's kind of my job to work with the family to make sure that whoever the player is getting the most of what they're supposed to be doing, try to get them to the next level. But, maybe more importantly, I do a lot of mentoring as the year goes along. Kids nowadays have a lot to deal with. there's a lot of stuff, peripheral stuff that goes on, and so I try to keep in touch with all my clients and making sure that stay on an even keel. When things aren't good, you try to prop them back up.
Yeah.
But when things are going really well, you try to bring them down to reality and try to get them to stay on par. So that's kind of what I do. It's it's kind of a lifelong. It's kind of what I've done for a long, long time, going back to my junior hockey days. So I really enjoy it. It's a little bit different than running a team, but I find it just as rewarding because it's nice to see kids get out of hockey what they're really trying to get from it, and so it's been real enjoyable.
See, the one thing, and I'll just go right to it, is that political side of hockey has always been an issue, especially in Sault Ste. Marie. I bet you it's the same everywhere. I don't have the experience of being in Southern Ontario or further north or anything as such, but you have kids who are just mentally thinking about hockey. That's their goal. And I'm a victim of that. There's players that I've played with that you've GM'd and coached with that are victims of that, where that if they get really high up in points or if they do really well, that's all they're thinking about. They think about the important things in life. Or if they're really down in their game and are not doing well, then they're thinking, okay, what am I going to do now in life? Meaning that, oh crap, hockey might not be working out, but what should I do and get going forward? Or even when they are playing, who is looking out for me? Because you can get agents, right? You can get people part of programs, but it's getting on the right path. And this is a big fear for a lot of kids that maybe even move from out of town to come play for the Thunderbirds. Yep. We have some players. We've had Tyler Malpass on the show, who's from out of town. You got some guys who come up here and risk basically a lot of things to come up and move away from their families. So what do you see now in comparison maybe to even when I was playing or before when I was playing, the changes and also maybe the different kind of changes that can be made to improve?
Well, one of the big things, going back to even, your time is this pay-to-play thing now in junior has become, a little bit over the top in some areas. And so really for me, if a player decides that he wants to play in a system, pay-to-play, like the Thunderbirds or whatever, I need to ensure there's value there, that kids are getting good development off the ice, they're getting a lot of gym time, they're practicing a lot, because the way the model is now in junior hockey, you can almost survive not drawing well based on charging kids a big dollar, but at the end of the day, you need to deliver value. You need to be able to deliver good off ice. You need to deliver making sure they're in school and they're doing the right things in school. Yeah. You need to deliver practicing every day, good coaching, quality off ice people. Yeah. And when pay-to-play started, none of that existed. None of it. It was a part-time coach. The owner thought, with this whole thing, they could, pad the budget real good. Yeah. Now it's changed. Now it's all about full-time coaches. It's about off-ice coaches. It's about trainers that have specific training. Yeah. So things have really changed. Some leagues have been, first to the, what I would call first to the finish line. Yeah. The CCHL has been the model of pay-to-play since it started, because they offer, full-time good coaches. They offer all the stuff that you need to help a player succeed. Yeah. And coming up at the back has been, leagues have come up. Thunderbirds have always done a good job, I think, but a lot of the teams up north now have, full-time coaches. They really, do a good job. So I think it's all kind of leveled out, and now kids get an opportunity and get some value for their money. Yeah. And that's why you're seeing, I think, a big problem in midget hockey in the Soo, is because people don't think that they're seeing that value, and that's been a problem.
Do you think paying for hockey in the junior level is a good thing to do? Is that needed? You being a previous general manager in the NOJHL, and knowing how the fees are operated, you got buses, you got meals, you got hotels, and I know sponsorship is really relied upon. I know Mr. Jones with Subway was really big with that before back in the day, but is that necessary, you think? Because it really seems like now that the team who has the most money are the teams that are the most successful. They buy their players through trade, buy the best coaches, buy for example, if you're bidding between a player and you offer them sticks and paying for their fee, opposed to a team that says, we can't cover your fee, buy you sticks, but it's a good organization, what team is that player going to go to? So then also the passion side of hockey, it's not just about the passion of playing anymore and playing for the right fit, it's about money and business.
Well, I go back to 2012, just as kind of an example. That was the year we had Mickey Sartoretto, Mario. We had a
very good hockey team.
High-end team.
Yes.
Now, so we end up at the Royal Bank Cup.
Yep.
And, we end up with Penticton, whose coach is paid probably basically what our budget is. $150,000. You got a video guy at $35,000. You got this guy at $40,000. You got this guy. So basically, just behind the bench, you have basically our budget. And so the guys that played with us, they weren't getting extras. They really weren't. And as much as we wanted to give them whatever we could, it's just not the reality.
No.
But when it's all said and done, you still got to play the game.
Yep.
We ended up, Penticton, I think, had won 27 or 28 games in a row in the BC League, and we beat them. The very first game of the Royal Bank Cup, absolutely unheard of. It was just kind of and that Royal Bank Cup team, was a goal away in the Portage game of getting the bye to the final. Had we not lost in OT, double overtime to Portage, we'd have got the bye to the final, and Penticton and Portage would have had to play in the second.
Yeah.
So, money is great. Money really helps make things pretty easy.
Yeah.
But there's also certain situations that, it might be worth spending money to play somewhere. And I'll give you an example. If you're a Sioux kid and you're 16 or 17 and you're in school at St. Basil's and you're a nice Italian kid who loves mom's cooking, and school is kind of a little iffy. You need to really kind of buckle down. Parents need to stay on you.
Yeah.
Then undoubtedly you need to play a year, with the Thunderbirds or somewhere else before you consider doing something else. Because there's been so many kids have left and just were ill prepared to go. Parents want the best all the time. They're like, because Johnny and Johnny from work, his kid played, and he's gone to wherever. My kid's better than him. Dad figured my kid's better than him. He should be able to go too. Doesn't always mean it's the right way to do it.
No.
And so you need to kind of rein it in a little bit. You got to look at the individual player. See, there's kids, U.S. kids, that have been away since they're 13.
Yep. I think Tyler was saying that, or Lawrence. I forget which one was saying it. But there's one. It might have been Lawrence. But they were saying that they take the risk of leaving their family.
They have no choice.
Exactly.
They live in the Carolinas, as an example, because I have somebody who comes from the Carolinas. Well, they don't have that real high-end hockey. So what do? They go to Honey Baked in Detroit when they're 13. They're real good players. They play through the system until it's time for the draft or whatever. So for everybody, it's different. And, each player's individual needs are different. And that's why I think in what I do, that's the biggest part for me, is understanding that what I think for Matthew Perron that's playing in the CCHL is not going to be the same for Kobe Barrett that's playing in CAP, or somebody that's playing at Lake State or in the East Coast. Everybody's different. Some guys need a kick in the bottom, when things aren't going well, because it's just they're not putting the work in. And then other guys, just maybe bad luck, things just aren't going their way. But everybody's different.
See, Justin, I'll slide over to you, just a little brief comment in terms of the difficulties of just leaving home. You can do that in hockey. Football can be difficult. We're speaking of like hockey management here, mostly with Kevin, but the difficulties that can surface in terms of fees and families. Doesn't matter what sport. It could be hockey or any sport. You can have an absolute talent of a player, but then maybe money gets involved where the parents can't pay for those upper levels. So I've never really been a fan of paying for hockey. I remember my first year playing for the Blind River Beavers, I didn't have to pay. The second year is when I came back from playing for the Sioux Eagles. That's when I got traded for myself, I actually think it was, Kev. But jokes aside, there I actually had to pay it. It was $500 plus league fee. And that even then it's like my parents were like, hey, why are we paying for junior hockey? Now I think it's more than $500, right? And Justin, the difficulties of paying could really come into havoc.
You can't even play men's league for $500.
No, but with sticks breaking and with that's what it probably will cost me for men's league this year.
The amount of tape you just lose
and share with your teammates because they forget to bring it.
Your money.
Yeah,
you gotta have your money after.
But I mean, I find this whole conversation I found fascinating because I've never thought about the year end of the business, the game, and I guess where I'm most interested is that you have the ability to kind of go in and be a neutral party negotiating between the player and the family the player knows what he wants to do. The family has an idea of where they want to push the player, but that might not be the right move. And so you can go in there as that neutral party and say, well, no, I've done this for a long time. I've seen situations like this. The best move might be A or B or whichever. But I just, from the family end, it also gives the parents this comfort level of knowing, we may not be super familiar with this, and now we've got this calming presence that can come in and explain everything to us, give us our options, put it all on the table, because you are making a substantial decision for little junior.
It doesn't matter if you're from out of town or local either.
And whether he's 13, 15, 18, it's sometimes you got to have someone around to help with these decisions.
Part of it too is I never say this is what you need to do. One of the things that it's a little bit interesting is I'll let them tell me what they want to do, then I give them the information, from where I sit, and if that matches up, then it obviously is a good plan. But what I don't get involved in is I don't push somebody to go one place or another. It's only about giving them the right information. Then from there, they decide. I have kids that have to decide between OHL or going to school. All I can do is give them the information that I have, and from there they need to decide. And sometimes
it's make the most educated decision.
Yep.
And sometimes what I think is best isn't what they do. But you need to support what they decide, and really try to help them. But the other part too is I'm kind of the go-between with the teams, because a lot of these teams I know, I have a relationship, whether it's college teams, junior teams, whatever. So when I call and there's a problem, having been in the seat that I was previously, in junior and understanding how things work, I don't have to beat around the bush. I know what they're trying to get accomplished with somebody, and if I'm not on board because it's detrimental to the player, then I just come out and say I'm not on board with this. This is not going to work. Either you fix it or we figure something else out, because I know how teams want to play the game,
they want to move,
and it doesn't always mean that my client, they have my client's best interest in mind. So when that becomes a problem, then we need to shift elsewhere.
See, and I want to ask you this, and this is always a question: is it OHL or NCAA, or is it the NA, or is it the NOJHL? Or is it, when you're looking at that with your client based on the avenue that they go down, is it something that you examine with somebody personally for their best fit? If they're really school enhanced, do they go to the United States because of how important it is, or does it just matter based on fit in terms of how the team is for that player? Like if you have the Thunderbirds, or if you have Kingston Voyageurs, I think they have that Kingston Voyageurs going after them, or if you have somebody from Indiana who's in the NA going after them, how do you get that avenue for them? Like what do you factor in?
Well, first and foremost, like the OHL or Division I thing is kind of an interesting one, because it really is based on when you're 15.
Yeah.
You're here, but schools are looking at you and projecting what you're going to be like when you're 19 or 20.
Yeah.
OHL teams know what you are at 50. They know already what they're drafting.
Yeah.
So with the way the school stuff works now and the way they guarantee year for year, in the OHL, and depending on how high a draft pick you are, guarantee your full 4 years. It's almost foolproof now to go to the O, play your time, and you're going to have your school paid for. But where Division I kind of comes in a good spot for some players is it allows for late bloomers.
Yes. Colin Miller, is that? Well, I guess he went the Greyhound route, right? So
I begged Lake State. Timmy Christian was there. He was kind of the head recruiter then. Begged Timmy to come. He came and watched him at the Greyhound rookie camp and loved him. But they're like, oh yeah, we really, really like him. We don't know what we're going to do yet. And Dave Torrey was, yeah, I like him too. And Dave was like, I'm not waiting.
Yeah, no.
And Dave put a card on the table. Colin Miller was smart. Colin Miller, was a great player who just hadn't reached his potential. He had played high school 1 year, only played AAA midget 1 year, and then played a year with the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of room to grow and a lot of room to get better.
Yeah.
And then when he hit the ice with the Greyhounds, he just developed really well, and obviously, he's making a ton of money.
In Vegas.
Enjoying
It's
himself.
worked for him.
I mean,
friend and listener of the show too, so he'll definitely.
How much fun can it be, or how good can life be playing the game that you love?
Yeah.
In Las Vegas.
Getting
In Las
paid
Vegas.
a ton of money, living in the greatest place to play. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't get any better than
Yeah,
that.
no, it doesn't. And they have a good fan base and support there. They've done well. Yeah.
It's huge. So, everything's different. You can't compare the North American League with the NOJHL. It's all about individual, because if you're a depth guy in the North American League, you're better off being a front-end guy in the Northern Ontario Junior League.
Yeah.
It's all about where you're going to get the most opportunity. And for some guys playing a year or two in the NOJHL, where you can carve out a niche for yourself, you build a name for yourself, and what I call a paper trail.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year, or top 10 in scoring, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Those things really help you push you forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes guys need an extra year or two down, whatever they're doing. But that, and that's the biggest thing. Guys don't have to get everywhere in a minute. It's a long process. Take your time, enjoy the time wherever you're at, and then the next year enjoy because it's all about the process and getting where you want to get to. Those are what makes the memories when you're all done. Are those years you played with all your
friends,
new people you met along the way, and that's ultimately what your memories of playing are all about.
Yeah. Dave McCaig alongside Justin Hykel, special guest Kevin Cain. Just a few more minutes, Kev, before we let you go. We're gonna go to the fun side of the joke story side of things. I know you have a bunch to share. Before we conclude, we'll get your contact information, how individuals can reach out to you in terms of Cain Hockey Management. But I want you to kind of, I like leaving the table for listeners to say, and ask questions. But you know what? I'm gonna kind of kibosh that and go with us because you and I do have history. And I did say at the beginning that you're actually the one who was a part of my first ever radio debut on Randy Russin's Hockey North Show, and I believe that we talked and agreed that it might have been Brody's at the time of that. Yeah. And that was when I was 16, and that was my first year in the league with Blind River. And geez, it seems like a lifetime ago now. But it's just to share some stories and on your experience with hockey. And if you want to share a good couple of stories about me, I'll leave that for you.
The beauty about when Randy would have you on the Hockey North Show is you could fill 35 minutes without even breathing. And that was the beauty of it, because Randy would have like half dozen beer.
Yeah.
He'd ask 2 questions, and it was a great night. And listening to you talk was always fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we go back a long way, aside from being a newborn. But I know I traded you 3 times. I was thinking about this on the way over. I personally traded you 3 times.
And we're still friends.
Still friends. Real good, when you were with the Thunderbirds, and just that whole your junior hockey time was just a different time.
The stock market I was really inconsistent.
And it just, so many different things went on, but we called David Suitcase. That was David. I mean, it was his moniker. It was, but
Oh shit! I'll never live that down. Sorry, there's my swear for the day.
But it was great. I mean, you really came out when you started your time in junior really doing well, and that afforded you some different opportunities with different teams and stuff, and so it was fun.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that you found your. I mean,
after hockey, I coached after playing, then did this. It took some time.
I mean, I really can't see you doing anything different because it's probably the one thing that I thought, on your first night of doing the Hockey North Show with Brandon Wrestling, after you could blow off 35 minutes, I was like, well, this is what David should be doing when he gets done his hockey because you're a natural for it. And I listened to the show before. Yeah. I think I listened to the round table one too. Yeah. And it was immensely entertaining because guys, I like the banter. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah. So it's nice to see that you've landed on your feet. And I think the last time I actually saw you in person, I had won a poker tournament. And
was that at the casino? Yeah. We worked together at the casino, actually, Justin. That's how we actually became friends.
So I'd won a poker tournament. I had to go out in the lobby. They had to take my picture or something, and you were working that night. So it's been a while, but it's been a lot of fun. A lot of I've been in hockey. I'm 51 now, so I'm like 30 plus years of non-playing stuff, of doing whatever I've been doing, and I don't know that I've ever had more fun than I'm having now. I do miss the day-to-day stuff of running a team. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, but the personal stuff with families and whatever is really good, and I get that proud dad feeling when I go to a game and I watch a kid play that I know that I'm trying to do my best for, and they work hard and they, they're doing things the right way. And the coach says to me, like Noah Zeppa as an example. Coach says, the kid just works hard. He's just such a good kid. I just hope for the best for him. Yeah. So those are the nice things you like to hear. Yeah. And I'm really enjoying this.
You definitely do well in terms of your GM. If you're working with a client, you've always done good in terms of the rink. You've always done a lot for the Soo too, especially with the Soo Thunderbirds. You also had time with the Indians, correct?
Coach and GM 2007, I guess we won. Yeah. My wife lives in Sioux, Michigan, so I'm in the middle of trying to become
American.
One of Trump's. A person that Trump hates. They call me a potential landed immigrant because I'm still in the process. Yeah. So Trump, I'm not on Trump's Christmas card list, but
no. He wouldn't be on mine either.
So it's been a lot of years. I met my wife through hockey. Yeah. So I mean a lot of good things. It's done a lot for me.
Kevin, that is awesome. I'm going to get if you want to state some contact info in terms of how people can get a hold of you before we let you go.
Yeah, you reach me by email probably first is probably the best way, and then I can contact you. So it's at Cain at CainHockeyManagement.com, and by all means, people can email me, and I'd be happy to call them back.
Absolutely. Definitely reach out to Kevin. He knows what he's talking about. Trust me. The only bad move he made was traded me 3 times. I like to say, but it was probably his best. It's probably his best moves if you really want to go back. It's not as bad as Mark Bergevin's comments when he says best move was signing Paul Byron. When you get that as your best move as a GM, Justin, I know you like laughing at that one.
Why do they call him Dollarama? Is that because the owner of the Montreal owns the Dollarama store? Pat Stout calls him Dollarama.
Oh, I actually don't know that. We gotta get producer Ghost on that one.
You gotta figure that one out because a buddy of mine that originally from the Soo lives in Montreal. Yeah. Big Habs fan. Pat Stout. He calls Bergevin Dollarama, and I always kind of wondered if it was because the owner of the Habs they owned that or whatever, or maybe it's just a bad moniker.
There could be something more there.
Being cheap, maybe. But
I'm gonna get. Well, we got a guy, producer Ghost, who kind of looks into stuff, but he's kind of MIA right now. So I'm trying to find out if that's true with my own Google look right now. But we might have.
It's amazing though how Montreal, as bad as we all thought they were going to be, they hung around. And my Red Wings, who I knew were rebuilding, have just been horrible.
They opened up in Montreal first. So there must be something there. That's the quickest I can get in terms of speed on the phone.
I had this conversation with a guy who worked today about Vancouver.
In Vancouver.
He said the same thing. Vancouver was going to be a mess this year, and the way Travis Green has his kids playing right now.
Yeah. Here's the big question today.
Yeah.
All these teams are chasing. Leafs are following a bunch of teams.
Yeah.
The William Nylander
issue,
sweepstakes, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I say the Leafs can't afford to pay him and the other two.
Nope.
I don't think.
You got to move him for a defenseman. I've said it for years.
I do the math, and it just doesn't quite add up.
No, it doesn't.
Kyle's on record as saying that he could and would have the three of them. I don't see it.
How?
But there's teams chasing them now. I think there's a lot of trade talk. Carolina.
Yes, they're the front runners, I think.
Carolina's hot.
Yeah, they're really hot into it.
It'll be interesting because the Leafs. I just don't see Nylander as being a big need for them.
They desperately need some help on the wing right now, and they need some big body help.
But you know what Nylander can play because Matthews being out 4 weeks is center. I think that is a big loss. I don't think they're going to feel a lot of it because they have depth. But when you're missing one of the best players in the world,
that's Patrick Marleau.
I guess
hasn't been doing a whole lot on the wing right now.
I mean, Babcock said one of the things that he thinks that they're missing is depth down the middle. Now, with Matthews out, but I think even without Matthews, if you run down the guys they have in the middle, between 2 and 3, there's a lot of space.
Yeah.
When you go, once you get to Kadri, there's a big gap there.
Yeah, there is.
So I think
there is.
I think they really need somebody. I'm not a Leaf guy.
I think you're a Red Wing fan.
I'm a Red Wing guy.
Yeah.
They've never won the cup while I've been alive, the Leafs, and the last time they won is the year I was born. So I've never had to endure. There would be nothing worse in this town as if the Leafs were to win the cup, because the Leaf fans are obnoxious. Like when they don't even make the playoffs. So I can only imagine.
I would flip out if the
or the Habs.
Yeah.
Those are the only two that I really kind of hope flounder. But the Leafs are just too good for that to happen, and it could be an interesting year for them.
So before I let you go then, who is your Stanley Cup favorite? Let's get that in. If you had to pick someone who's your Stanley Cup favorite now, today, you had to put your money down. Who are you taking? I know that's kind of putting you on the spot, but...
I'm going to take that. There's somebody out west, I think, a team out west, just because of the trial. But I kind of let the Leafs are good. I mean,
are they better than Tampa though? That's always the question.
Well,
right now that is the question.
Yeah, but I think they have some opportunity to get better. As Tampa, I think is a little bit tied with the cap.
Oh yeah, they are.
And the Leafs have some, wiggle room with this Nylander thing, and if they get good goaltending, I think they really could legitimately give them. And you know how crazy Toronto would be.
The players got to feed off that.
I mean, you look at when the Raptors were in the play, like it's just insanity, and you have to be excited when, to be in an environment like that. And Mike Babcock knows how to win when he has good players. So I think they got a legitimate shot at least getting to the final for sure.
I think they do. Losing Matthews would be great how they come out of that. And I'm definitely not a Jake Gardner fan, Kev. I got to say that. He's a defenseman that I have a hard time playing with. And I know a lot of people criticize me with saying that.
I mean, he is what he is.
Trying to get him on the show, actually. There's a friend of mine that played hockey with his best friends with him. I hope Jake hasn't listened to previous editions because he's going to absolutely bombard me here.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be an easy sell. But you're never, when you run 6D out there, night after night after night, in the NHL, the depth is not as great as people think.
No.
When you get to 5-6, you've got guys that have some issues in their game.
Yep.
And they're cap friendly. I mean, guys at the bottom end of whether you're forward or a defense, you're a cap friendly guy.
Yep.
And so with that, you got to learn to live with the mistakes a little bit, and then play your top 4 a ton.
Yep, and the Leafs are playing. Morgan Riley's having a good start to the year, but still going to be, the defense is always a question mark for me. Now, Kev, I'm going to let you go. We're going to go to our commercial break before we bring in head coach of the Soo Thunderbirds, John Parco, as he is on location, somewhere wandering with Trevor Zachary here on location. Kev, I want to say thank you for coming on by. I'd like to have you on again sometime in the near future as we get going into more busy season in local hockey, and I hope you had fun here today.
And Johnny's done a great job. really has done a great job. And I'd be happy to come back.
Absolutely. Thank you to Kev. Justin, obviously you're not going anywhere. You keep holding that beer. We're going to listen to a few messages from our sponsors. And we come back, we're bringing in head coach from Thunderbirds, John Parco. So don't go anywhere. The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
Hi, I'm Brendan Brooks, professional hockey player. You're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig. I'm here at Northern Superior Brewing Company alongside Justin Hykel. And I want to say thanks to Kevin Cain for coming on by to be our first guest here tonight. And now we got our second guest of the evening, someone who knows the show. It's his first time live on location. Head coach of Soo Thunderbirds, John Parco. Johnny, how you doing, my friend?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, but very happy you took the time to come on by, so thanks. I know you had your class. You came right here from your class or your gym class, right? Is that it?
Just a group that I had in the gym. So
Nice. Yeah. Still working out, keeping in game shape.
Me?
Yeah.
No. I'm a do as I say, not as I do kind of guy.
I like that. And we're going to get into today when you're here. We're talking about previous weekend with the Soo Thunderbirds. This week we've been preparing for your road trip, that grueling road trip that I don't miss. Not going to lie to you if I'm playing. Then we're going to get into some funny stories. I know you know a guy that I coached with, and you played with him. I didn't play with him, Doug McEwen. So when I tag him in the show, he's going to wonder, why is Kegger tagging me in the show? And he's going to know why right there. But, it's been an exciting start for the Soo Thunderbirds this year. You had a 10-3, you improved to 12-3 after last weekend. You had some challenging games. Hearst was 4-3, a really tough game. I know Justin was at that game on Saturday. Then Sunday, the 2 o'clock game against Timmins. Timmins fought hard. Their player Sagan there that plays for Timmins is obviously a player that you got to watch. And Timmins was a big group of guys there too that play some hard-nosed hockey. Your players obviously came away with the win in the last couple minutes there with Lucas Theriault there getting the game-winning goal. And we're going to have your sound bite live on location between yourself and also Luke Theriault at the end of this interview. Usually we'll have it right into the interview, but we're going to be different and put it at the end here. But talk about last weekend so listeners can get a little recap how your team played last weekend.
You know what? I was actually very, very happy with the way we played. We started the week, maybe we didn't mention it earlier, but we started the week with a big win in Rayside.
Yeah.
Okay, that after a long weekend traveling in Wisconsin playing D3 teams, I still honestly believe it helped us. The tempo of the games in Concordia and Lawrence University was a lot higher. I wouldn't say a lot higher, but it was definitely a little bit higher than what we were used to. And then, that really pushed us and it challenged us. And, as a team, you play at a high speed, it's definitely going to help you for a little bit. So, we went in the Rayside and we really played maybe our best game of the season.
Yeah, and you actually improved to 13-3 as your record, so I said 12-3. But so I stand corrected with that. And you only had 16 games compared to everyone in your Western Division. Blind River was 19, who was behind you by 2 points, but again, 19 games. Rayside's played 22 games. 22 games, Justin. That's 6 games more than the Thunderbirds. You have Elliott Lake with 19, the Eagles and Espanola having 18 respectively, and you're still 2 points up. So you have a lot of games in hand. Yeah. You used that time off the previous weekend to go obviously that trip. Was going away obviously was a part of the plan for development of your players, but also to make sure to keep them fresh because you don't want that much time off in between games.
No,
right?
Actually, you know what? It wasn't that at all. We just wanted to introduce this little tour of the D3 schools. We sort of realized that the NOJHL in this instant hasn't really. We haven't had too many D1 scholarships for whatever reason, and I honestly believe that we do have D1 hockey players throughout the league.
Yep.
We need to promote these players a little bit better. But we've realized that a reality for some of the older players, the ones that are not drafted to the OHL, that move on to the OHL, the reality is that they'll, D3 is a good option for them.
Yep.
So, we had some good connections with some of the Wisconsin teams, and we worked out this deal where that we'd come and play in a couple exhibition games, and they get to see us, and we promote some of our older players, and I think it was just a great opportunity for our team. The players, we do have a lot of players that really do concentrate on schooling.
Yeah.
We have kids with good grades. They're dedicated. They work hard at the rink, and NCAA D3 schooling is a great option for those kids.
Yeah.
So.
And we had Lawrence who came on by. It was actually our first Thunderbird. Wow, I'm talking like a child. Thunderbird guest that came on by this year, and he has a good head on his shoulders, along with Tyler Malpass as well. All your kids on there seem very mature, and I'm sure you're proud with them having their heads straight. And they're just a good group of young guys. Usually, when I played hockey before, there was a bunch of hothead young kids, but it seems like those times have changed.
No, I personally, I want kids that have, they're looking to do something after their junior hockey.
Yeah.
We want kids that come in, they're dedicated, they're hungry, they want to move on, they want to keep playing, they want to study, or they're going to work.
Yeah.
They're learning a trade. We don't want the kids that are just playing out their junior hockey just to have fun.
Yeah. No.
Okay. We want something that's going to stimulate them after their junior careers. So.
And that's what Trevor, who also said to make sure we talk about him, give him a little cameo here because he's got the best black vest on in the league right now. But that's what he said earlier in the summer when we had him on in August, was that you want to get players that are not just good on the ice, but they're also like straight and narrow-headed off the ice. They're not going to talk back. They're not going to be bad influences on anyone in the locker room or represent the organization in a negative way. And you as a coach, there's been a lot of things in junior sports and even professional sports. We know there's a lot of off ice or off field, doesn't matter what sport you're talking about, issues. And obviously here with the Thunderbirds, that you obviously got kids who probably follow a curfew plan that you have for them in place before games. Or are you trusting them for that? Or how do you monitor that as a coach? Or do you just have that trust?
This is going to sound really, really weird for a lot of people and a lot of coaches, but I don't call curfew.
Oh, okay.
I have no rules. I'm probably the only coach, one of the very few coaches that doesn't have rules.
Yep.
Okay. I base everything on respect. You come to the rink, you work hard, you respect your teammates, you respect your coaching staff. We do want good kids.
Yeah.
But we also realize that some kids need a little bit extra guidance. And, if there's a player that you come to my team, you start off with a clean slate. So I don't care what you've done in the past. If I like you and, you're willing to work hard and try to change, maybe, some kids get a little bit off the tracks and they're willing to learn and try to improve, then you're okay with me.
Well, you had Matthew Beresin, who came in acquired early in the year, obviously, but after camp was all settled. And we've talked about that in the interview that we're going to hear at the end of this interview. But just impressed with how he's brought in. There's a kid that really composed himself. He was obviously a target on the ice, who was watched by the other teams. Lucas Theriault, who is someone I consider myself related to because his cousin is my niece's father. So there's if you want to consider that. And when he saw me there, he got a little chuckle when I shared that story. So you got a good group of guys, but the guy that I wanted to really talk about before Luke was Matthew Beresin, and get really more in depth with that, and just on his size and his presence on the ice. Obviously, it's a team game, the successes you've had, but really impressed with Matthew.
Matthew's been a huge addition to our team. We started off really, really young last year with probably only 12 players when we started. And, when this staff came in, nobody wanted to play for us. That's the bottom line. Sioux kids included. Everybody was, everybody left.
Wow.
Everybody left. If the ones that didn't leave, probably some of them probably wanted to leave. So we sort of had to gain some respect from the Sioux kids and from, maybe the entire league.
Yeah.
Bottom line is we were a little bit small and we were very young, and we needed a little bit of size up and down the wings.
Yeah.
And, we had this opportunity to bring in Matthew. And I'm not going to lie to you, I heard a lot of negative things about him. But in the end, we did our research and we realized that people that really knew Matthew knew that he was a good kid.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah. Because you don't care about capacity. You see that you've performance on the ice. You give that kid a chance, despite what you heard before.
Yeah, we brought him in and we told him that we didn't want him to play the aggressive style that he was sort of used to playing.
Yeah.
And that we believed in him as a person, and we believed that he, in his game I don't want to call him a skilled player, but more as a power forward.
Yeah.
And we didn't want him to take penalties, and we didn't want him to fight anybody, and we wanted him on the ice. We wanted him part of the team in whatever role he was asked to do. And so far, it's been really good. And Matthew likes it here. He likes the group of guys that we have. We have a really good locker room. They made him feel accepted, and we hope the best for him.
And you have had such a successful start to the year, 13-3, like we said. So, what do you think really points out that success? What really made everything work up to this point for your team? Was it the hard work? Was it the chemistry? Was it everything just meshed? Or, what can we continue to see this success? Do you think everyone's just on the right page? Have they bought into your system, like your practices? The flow of practice really brought forth the success, because I'm a firm believer the way you practice is the way you play. I've always been a firm believer of that, so I'm sure you guys have some hard, intense practices that may have brought in the success and buying in some systems too.
Obviously, we were able to keep, over the off season, we were able to keep a good core of our players. So, at the beginning of the season, we really didn't have to spend a lot of time on team systems. We were able to work on a lot of different things, and kids have bought in, and I'm a firm believer. I want them to come to the rink every day and have fun, and they have fun, and they're enthusiastic, and that's all you can really ask. There's going to be ups and downs in the season, so we were lucky enough to start off early in a good way, and we realize that there's going to be times when it doesn't go as well as it is right now. So.
Yeah, and it's definitely going really well. And Justin, I'm going to slide over to you in terms of some, just to echo this topic that we're talking here with Johnny.
I guess I don't even know if it's really a question. It's more of a statement. It's just one of these things I've noticed with the players so far this year over any other athlete community, whether they're NHL level players, OHL players, or even high school athletes. Each one of these guys seems to check their ego at the door, no matter what they're doing. We've talked to them after the game, we've talked to them here, and each one of those guys is so complimentary of their team. Not another specific player, not themselves, their team. And I've never seen a group of guys that is just, they've got it together, like they know it.
They're mature. They're ahead of their time. Are you going to take full credit for that, Johnny?
No, no, definitely. I'm definitely not going to take full credit for that. Although, me and along with my staff, Toots Kovacs and Mark DeSanto and Trevor Zachary and even Chris Carr, who helps us out.
Oh yes, Chris Carr, superstar. He's
fantastic, and
he is a legend.
Jessica Wiggins. And your buddy
Joey Miller,
of course.
Do you even want to give him credit? I know he's not here tonight. I want to chirp him because I know he's got to study or do something dumb. But
even Joey Miller, we just want the kids to be good people. We stress being respectful to your teammates and be a good person in the locker room. When you come to the locker room, have fun and be a good person. And when everybody comes with the right intentions, that's half the battle.
So, as you prepare for the road trip this weekend, like I said, grueling road trip. Okay, but you're with the boys, you're in the bus, that's what I miss is that time with the boys. If you really want to go there, but it's what have you done this week to prepare for this weekend? As you know, Hearst, tough trip to go down, not just because of the teams that you're playing, just in general, the atmospheres of those rinks. I remember Abitibi, the Eskimos. I know the Abitibi Eskimos aren't the team, they moved around. But, the atmospheres out in those rinks, North Bay or in Hearst, I played NOHAs at Hearst, just electric. And just definitely hostile environments to play in, and definitely can remember the Gardens with the North Bay had over 4,000 people, and they had the Skyhawks, which was a lot more than the Thunderbirds got even when I played. Just a passion hockey areas down there. So, what have you done for this year to really be prepared for this weekend for the boys just to stay hot and continue on the right track?
Well, actually, we had played 3 and 4 games last weekend, so it was more. Monday was a day off for most of the players. We had a goalie practice and goalie and shooting practice, extra skills for the guys that maybe didn't play as much.
Yeah.
For the guys that played a lot of minutes over the weekend, and we do have quite a few that play a lot of minutes. It was a rest day, And then Tuesday, believe it or not, we introduced a mental preparation program through a fantastic website. It's run by a local sports psychologist who's working at the University, York University.
Okay.
Peter Papa, and don't even ask me how to pronounce his last name. And he knows that I can't pronounce it.
That is
Anyways, so we introduced it. It was a little bit later than we expected, but we finally got it up and going. So, a lot of these things we realize that, mental preparation is, half the battle for sports and for life in general. So if you're mentally strong, things can, when right now everything's going good for us, but as a team we realize that sooner or later there's going to be some hard times, and the quicker we can get out of those hard times, the better it is. So, we introduced that on Tuesday. Wednesday was just a regular day. And then Thursday today we showed some video before practice, and tomorrow we're on the bus for 8 hours.
8 hours,
and, and it was
put some movies on,
and it was something that was brought up also in practice today. It's just, it is what it is. You got to grind it out. We're up there to grind out a win, and driving 7-8 hours to Hearst and playing a game is not easy, especially against a team that plays very, very aggressive.
Oh yes,
they played very, very aggressive in our rank.
Yes.
So I don't even imagine what they're going to do in their own rank, right?
Exactly.
So, we're going to have to be prepared physically and mentally to battle that.
So you just touched on Hearst, but you also got Timmins and Cochrane this weekend. And what can you expect from both those guys to bring to your team? Obviously, we saw Timmins here last weekend, another hard-nosed team that's going to hit in the corners, that can score goals. Obviously, has some talent to watch there. But what can the listeners expect? People that are maybe traveling down to see or watching the game online, what can they expect from those other two opponents?
Cochrane is very similar to Hearst the way they play. Anyways, they're very aggressive. They're not as well structured as maybe some other teams, but they do have some talented players that they run, they work hard, they finish checks. They're a little bit cocky. It is in a good way.
That's the way it is. In a good way. Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that.
No, not in a negative way at all.
No.
Well, Timmins is on a roll right now. They're winning a lot of games. They're very well coached.
Yep. 8-2 in their last 10.
Yeah, I actually enjoy playing against Timmins because it's
it's a battle.
Well, it's a battle, and it's a little bit more of a structural game.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So you can actually adjust things. And,
okay.
It's
just some
as a coach, I'm talking about. Yeah. As a coach, I sort of look forward to playing against coaches.
Coaching things.
Yeah, let's do some coaching things.
Coaching things. That's what we'll call it, some coaching things.
Some coaching things. So Timmins is they're a really good team. They're really well organized.
Yeah.
They have good structure, and they also have some good players. So, a little bit of everything this weekend.
See, over in the East, you got Powassan, who's 13-6, along with Timmins. That's 20 games each, where they're paying. They're 27 points, but the team that everyone's circling in the East is Kirkland Lake. The team that was rated ahead of you was last week in the rankings, where you were ranked first at one point earlier in the year and also second, and you've been in the rankings for top teams in Canada. But Kirkland Lake, that's the team that everyone is expecting potentially to be a final matchup between Kirkland Lake and you guys early going. We're only 16 games in, but people are already.
That's way off.
What I've been talking about, those are what the people are expecting. So, do you see Kirkland Lake? Are they that team that's the favorite over in the East, or is that really even? Because when you look at the records over there, it's much like the West. It's not obviously you're well games behind with the Beavers and the Canadians and all that. But in terms of the East, you got Powassan and Timmins who are tied. Like I said, Kirkland's right behind them. You got Cochrane's even above 500 at 10-8. Then you have French River who's struggled to out of the gate with 3-14, 1-1 on the year. So, but Kirkland Lake.
Yeah,
are fans right with that, or is it a toss-up?
First of all, we as a team, Soo Thunderbirds are, we're far off being a championship team right now. You can't decide things like that in October or November.
Yeah.
It's a long season. There's
Yes.
so many things that can happen.
Yeah.
You still need a little bit of luck. There's injuries that happen. There's suspensions that happen. There's just so many different things.
Yeah.
Right. Teams will change players. Every team's allowed
Trades.
40 cards. There's trades.
Yeah.
We have a different mentality here in the Soo. We will not go through more than 23 cards. There'll be teams that will go through 40 cards this year.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the way it's always been in the Soo, which is what I love. It's been that way.
Yeah, I'm a strong believer of these kids they got school, they got
got lives.
They got lives. I'm not into bringing in players and then getting rid of them 2 weeks later because they didn't score a goal or what. I'd rather work with the kids and develop them. But on that note, to get back to the topic, it's just way too early to tell. Yeah. And on Kirkland Lake, I have absolutely no idea. I have not seen Kirkland Lake play yet. We haven't played them. I haven't had an opportunity to watch them. I'm not even sure when we play them.
We can look at the
schedule.
schedule.
Well, whenever it is.
We'll get.
Whenever
we'll
it is.
get it
I'm sure they're a good team, obviously. Just like Cochrane, Hearst, and Timmins, right?
Yeah,
that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And Powassan also, who beat us.
Yes.
So,
that's when fans say that early. I think it's just the people trying to be armchair GMs is what I like to say, which is a lot of like how Leaf fans are, based on how I like to say it. But when people say that you have a team that they projected to play in the finals this early, you don't really hear that too often. But I think it's due to just fans having talk, and no talk's bad talk. It's good for people to be engaged.
Great.
But when you have people that are really into it, and when you have two of the top teams in Canada, they like to say, win the NOJHL, that's good for the league as well, though. It's great.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm really proud that people are mentioning us in that conversation, that we're one of the better teams. We worked hard to be at this point, right? So why not appreciate what we've done, yet realize that there's still a lot more to do.
I'm actually looking at your schedule as you're talking, trying to get quick. Okay, January 11th is what I just noticed. January 11th is the first one I saw. The I can't even pronounce that. The community complex. They still play out of the Joe Maveratic. I can't even pronounce that. I can't. But that's when you are playing them. I know Justin's on it, looking probably when they play here in the Soo. So that's much later in the year. You got over almost 20 games at that point ahead of the time.
That's a long. It's a long ways off. So
February 22nd.
February 22nd.
Okay, so we're in January and then in February against Kirkland Lake. So,
it's a long ways off.
We'll tackle that battle when it.
We'll have you on obviously before then, and we'll talk about see if there's still that projected finals.
That's right.
But obviously I gotta talk about Lucas Theriault, who's had a hot start. Has done very well, and you must look at. There's a lot of your players that I can see have the capabilities of being D3, and you said earlier in the interview here that D1 players are in the NOJHL, and there are guys. There is absolutely, and you know what? The NOJHL has always been looked at as a league that's underneath leagues. It has been from what I can recall, and when you have people say, no, I want to go look at the SJ, or I want to go look at the NA, I want to go look at the OJ, I want to go look at these different leagues, because they're Southern Ontario, they're bigger cities. This is the Northern Ontario Hockey League, but there's been a lot of good talent that's played in this. People don't remember, but Kennedy played some games here for the Thunderbirds before back in his day.
The list is long.
The list is absolutely, and I can sit here all day until the sun comes up by the morning, the players that I can name. So, does the NOJHL in general, kind of going off topic from the Thunderbirds, sort of, talk about every team in the league, does the NOJHL deserve a bit more respect in terms of scouting? I mean that with all due respect, though, to the scouts.
Oh, wow. But that's a huge question. I'd really, really like to answer it from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
But I just can't.
Just can't.
I'm not in the situation to be controversial against the league or anything.
No, definitely not. No, does it?
The only thing I will say is what I believe, and I believe that the kids that play in our league need to dream more.
Yes.
And
that's a good way to put it.
And need to continue to do whatever it takes to be the best hockey player that they can, and not think that they're playing in a league that's inferior of other junior leagues, and just think that they're here just to play out their 3 or 4 years of junior and then retire, or retire for, I guess it's not really retiring, but quit.
Yeah. to move on to other things in life.
There's a lot of talented hockey players in our league on every team.
Yeah.
On every team. Yeah. So, they need to dream more and they need to work for it and don't think that it's out of reach.
No, for sure. And you got a lot of good, well-headed, and also talented hockey players there with the Soo Thunderbirds.
And you know what? A kid like Lucas Theriault is one of those. He's definitely a talented kid. He's an honest player. He's an honest person. He's got all the tools to move on. People talk about scholarships like it's easy.
It's not.
I'm going to go play NCAA D1. Well, you know what? The United States has 550,000 hockey players playing hockey right now, if not more. I haven't looked at stats lately. Yeah. Maybe more now.
Yeah.
This was as of a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Canada they have just as many hockey players as Canada does. So why do people think that the NCAA, which is in the United States of America, it's not in Canada, why should they be taking half of the Canadian hockey players? They shouldn't.
No.
They have their own players.
Yeah.
They have their own players. They have players that are worthy of an NCAA scholarship in their own country.
Yeah.
Does it still happen? Yes, there are possibilities for Canadian hockey players. Not as many as there used to be.
Yeah. Because
the Americans have done a great job at developing their own hockey players.
Yeah. And promoting. I always feel that the TV with the Big Ten and all that, they really promote. And I would like to see the CIS really grow into that, because I think we've had a lot of talented players from the Soo area go play in the CIS leagues too. Like, I would love to see that league promoted more and televised even more.
And a lot of people don't realize that U Sports, not CIS, it's U Sports now.
Yeah. That's right. It is. Yeah.
U Sports. A lot of Canadian university hockey teams beat the NCAA D1 teams on a regular basis.
Yeah.
They're very, very good hockey teams.
Yes,
and it's a very high level. And a lot of players play U Sports and move on to play pro hockey.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
With the schoolboy contracts that the OHL, the Western Hockey League, and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League are offering to these kids, they go get their university and then they move on to play pro after. It's not as easy to get into CIS as it looks.
No, it's not. It's not a league where you go to just to go play shitty hockey.
Thinking that I'm going to play 4 years juniors and then go play CIS or U Sports. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
it's difficult. It's not easy.
We get back to the the topic of these kids dreaming a little bit more and
it's realistic.
Going for their goals.
You can still, if you have a dream to desire to continue hockey, you can go play U Sports or wherever you play, and you still have a chance to go play European hockey. You still have a chance. There's people that play high school hockey. Colin Miller, we talked about him on the previous with Kevin. There's a guy who played White Pines, and then he goes up and plays Birds, and then he's the captain of the Hounds 2 years later.
There's
3 years
later.
later.
There's a lot of guys from the Soo that had to grind it out. There's not a lot of guys from the Soo that were just all of a sudden superstars and they got drafted, day one in the NHL and away they went.
Yeah.
Almost every player that you can think of that's out of NHL or professional hockey fame, Sault Ste. Marie, they had to grind it out.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. And
Look at Brett Thompson. There's a guy I play with that got 50 goals in the OHL. But then after that, he went over to play a little CIS hockey too, and he didn't go over in Europe, and he's still doing well for himself. But there's a lot of good hockey players that come out here. But it doesn't matter where you end up playing. You play somewhere, it's still an accomplishment.
Let's bring up next Soo Thunderbird in Owen Hedrick.
Oh, there you go.
Okay?
Yep.
Owen was maybe the last, I could be wrong, but maybe the last NOJHL scholarship.
Yeah,
to D1 that the leagues had.
Yes.
Played 2 seasons.
Yep.
Got a really nice offer from Erie to finish his OHL career.
Yep.
For 2 seasons. They
won
were making a
Cup.
run.
Yep.
Exact.
Yep.
Lost a Memorial Cup final.
Yep.
Okay. Played out his last season in the OHL.
Yep.
He's at University of
Nova Scotia. PI. That's right. PI. He's out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's out there. He's out east.
Exactly.
Out east. Yeah.
Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
Finishing his university.
That's an accomplishment.
Okay, so
and
he's playing
U
Sports. He's playing U Sports.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a very talented hockey player
that
went to an NHL training camp last season.
Yep.
And could definitely, when he's finished his university, move on to play pro hockey.
Yeah, definitely overseas. Like people always say, overseas is so many leagues.
Or
You
even
played
in the
overseas.
East Coast Hockey League, starting
yeah.
off in the East Coast, moving up to the American League, or in Europe, or whatever it takes, right?
Yep. I'm always a fan of European hockey. That is one thing for sure. And Johnny, before we let you go, we got a couple more things we're going to get to. And obviously the Soo Thunderbirds, you can catch their games online this weekend, so you certainly do not want to miss out on that. And they will be back in town. That'll be next weekend when they play host to the Rayside Balfour Canadians on Saturday. And then November the 15th, they're back home again against Blind River Beavers before they do a little home and home set that following weekend. So make sure you check out the Thunderbirds. Definitely some good and exciting hockey for sure. Now, speaking of hockey, you have experience playing hockey. So before I let you go, we're not going to let you go away without talking about your prior experiences to hockey. So we're going to talk about that. Your experiences played over in Europe in Cardiff, correct? That's where you were. Correct?
I played in a lot of places,
so I'll let you talk about
above other places. Yeah,
and I know we have one guy that we'll talk about near the end of the interview that you played with. But talk about your experiences, and then what made you lead to coaching and coming back to the Soo.
Oh wow!
I guess that's a couple-minute question right there. Mike's yours for a bit.
We could probably stay here for about 10 hours and talk about my hockey career, but you know what? It was a long run. I mean, I was one of those guys that had a really good, fortunately, had a good OHL career. I was drafted by the Flyers, even though I had already committed to a European contract before the draft. It was just, we're talking about a long time ago, obviously. I'm 47 years old right now.
You're still young.
But, I ended up playing 19 years pro. It was, and a lot of those years were in Europe. I was lucky enough to play in Italy, in Germany, in Scotland, in Wales.
That's amazing. I envy Italy. My mother was from Italy, actually, so I envy that. I actually got your stats up. You had some impressive years. You had some good years.
I was lucky enough to play in, I think, 9 or 10 World Championships and Olympics. And I feel really, really privileged. It was a long run. It was, it obviously takes a lot of dedication, and you need to be a true professional. But I enjoyed every minute of it, and it was one of those things where hockey was my passion, and I loved every second of it, and I was willing to do whatever it took to keep playing.
Yeah. And you did that. You played for as long as you could.
Yeah, I played for as long as I could, and you sort of, when you start playing pro, and you get a feel for it. Some guys are already thinking of what they're going to do next. What are they going to do next? What are they going to do next after their hockey career is over? As well as me, I was just more along the lines of, I'm going to play as long as I can. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll train hard. I'll dedicate myself, and that's just the way I always approach things.
Yeah.
All in
all the time. Work hard.
Yeah. So I was lucky. Yeah. I was really lucky, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was really fortunate. My father was born in Italy, immigrated to Canada as a youngster. So I was very privileged to have an Italian passport. And when the European Union became a reality, I didn't need a work visa to work anywhere in Europe. So that's definitely helped me to transfer. I was playing in Italy. I could have played there for a lot of years, but the opportunities came. A reality to move to the German DEL, which was maybe at that time was a pretty good league, and the Super League in Britain was also a very good league at the time, which it is to this day.
Yeah, it's good hockey. Right? All those leagues over in Europe. It doesn't matter if it's London, if it's England, if it's Germany, Sweden, Switzerland.
There's a lot of hockey that people maybe don't realize even exists.
A lot of different areas. Good friend of mine, Matt D'Agostini's playing over there, living with his family.
Yeah, Dager's there. Yeah. Nicky Plastino, they're both in Switzerland. Plaster is maybe one of the best hockey players that's ever come out of Sault Ste. Marie. He's a great defenseman.
I agree. Very much so.
He's a fantastic hockey player. He's just, he's a defensive defenseman who's really improved his game over the years. He's become, a little bit more offensive also. But he was a 5'10", 5'11" defensive defenseman who, in the NHL at the time, they have 6'2", 6'3" guys that are doing that job, right?
The defensive role especially.
I was on a team with Davey Borelli and Nicky Plastino,
good name.
And we won some championships in Italy, and people don't realize. We had some unbelievable hockey players there between Davey Borelli, Lane Ulmer, who was signed a huge contract with the New York Rangers.
Yep.
You know, Sean Bentivolio signed a huge contract with the Islanders.
Yep.
You know, Chris DiDomenico just signed. He was former Leaf.
Yeah.
Played with Ottawa last year.
Yes.
Traded to Chicago. He's back in Europe again, but.
Yeah.
You know,
he made the run. He kept going with it. Yeah.
We won a championship. Jeremy Rebick, another Sioux kid, was on our team.
Rebick.
Another fantastic hockey
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize how good
Yeah.
you have to be to play over in Europe. It's not as easy as
people think, if I'm not going to make the NHL, I'm just going to go play some shit. It's not that easy. No, it's not that easy.
There's a lot of talented
Different
hockey
hockey over there, though.
It is a different hockey.
Yeah, different style than North American hockey is. But I like that European style because I think it's more of a speed game. I think it's still like that. And that's where Brooksy, a good friend of mine, Brendan Brooks.
Brendan, fantastic. He's in Sheffield now.
Yeah, he is.
Had a long career.
Yeah, and he has a chance to play the World Championships here at the Tier 1 with against Canada.
Exactly. And I was lucky enough to play in 6 of them, right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Playing against the best players in the world. And you know, that's sort of your Stanley Cup when you move over to Europe.
And now
you get an opportunity to play against the best players in the world. So,
and that obviously drove you to your passion of coaching. You wanted to continue being around.
Yeah, you know what?
Right, I guess
that sort of came along a lot earlier. I actually sat out a season. I was struggling with injuries. I had 3 different groin operations for sportsman's hernias, and I just couldn't figure out the situation. And I was really lucky to find very, very, very lucky. I was introduced to a man in Italy named Dr. Raffaele Tendi, who actually spent a lot of time this summer, 6 weeks here in Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay.
You know, and we're planning some, a couple different things here in the Soo. Hopefully, he can spend a lot more time helping athletes here in the Soo and helping people with different injuries. He's an unbelievable man, very intelligent. He's trained hundreds of Olympians. He's he sort of saved my career at that point. When I met him, I started training with him. I started changing the way I was training, and he saved my career. And in that one season where I decided to sit out, where I actually wasn't sitting out, I signed with my original team that I signed with in Europe in Asiago, where I built my home and where my kids were born.
Yep.
I made a deal with the management saying, listen, I'm just not ready to play. And it was September. It was in August, and I was still in a lot of pain. I said, listen, I'm not ready to play. I'd love to start coaching your youth.
Yeah.
And when I'm ready, maybe you can put me in a few games. And I signed a contract where I was getting paid as a youth coach.
Okay.
And I was the extra guy on the pro team. So whenever they had some injuries, when I was ready, I'd play. So it worked out. It was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Was that in 2010 by chance?
Was that early? No, it would have been probably 2001.
Oh, okay. That's when you just started over in Italy.
Yeah, that's when I went back to Italy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't play a lot of games that year.
Yeah.
But I felt good on the ice for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And what I would do was I'd go on the ice at 3:00 in the afternoon with the kids.
Yeah.
And I was on the ice with the kids until 9:00 at night.
Yeah. Yeah. But you could
every day
the game and you just taught with them
every day, and that's where I started coaching, and that's when I realized that you get to learn how kids progress in their lives.
Yeah.
Right, in their hockey. And you start with the 5-year-olds at 3:00. You move on to the on to the 7-year-olds, to the 8-year-olds, to the 9-year-olds, to the 10-year-olds, all the way up to the junior team.
Yeah.
So, it just gave me. It was probably physically, as far as being tired, and it was probably the toughest year of my life because I spent a lot of time at the rink.
Yeah.
But it was probably maybe the most satisfying year of my life.
For sure. That's definitely some great experiences. Now, one more thing, John, before I let you go, going over time as we always do here. The person we have to talk about before we let you go. I know we're going to have you on the show a bunch more, especially working with the Thunderbirds closely this year, but
Dougie McEwen. McEwen, there's a guy that when I was fresh out of playing, I was 20 years old. He hired me as the assistant coach of the Blind River Beavers.
Okay.
I traveled back and forth, wasn't paid. I don't know how the system goes now. It doesn't matter how it goes, but I did it voluntary going back and forth. And Dougie was a mentor of mine for coaching. I was with him for a year and a half until some unfortunate circumstances we had to leave Blind River. And I decided I didn't want to stay because it was very awkward between myself and management, to be flat out honest. And I know the person who it was on the other side of me resigning is probably going to listen, because I know he does and hear that, but it just didn't work out. But Dougie, for that year and a half, the stories that he shared when he played, I'm not going to say everything, but just his knowledge of the game and the impact that he had over playing in London and in England, and the success that he had. I know you have some PG-13 stories maybe that you could share, I know Dougie probably definitely going to listen to this, because he knows that you and I are talking.
It's kind of funny because that was the year, my first year, I started playing with Q. I don't know if you guys call him Q.
Yeah, I did. I called him Dougie, because that's when it was what's that song that I'm thinking of? Everybody Dougies are, oh God, now I feel really old. Okay, but there's a song called Everybody Dougie or something, so I got in the habit of calling him Dougie, but Q's better.
Yeah, Q. Anyways, Q is one of those situations where we were talking about my injuries with with different groin injuries in the 3 operations. The year before I was playing, and I signed a contract in Portland in the American League, believe it or not. I said, I'll come back one more time, playing Portland. I ended up spending most of the year in Hampton Roads in Norfolk, Virginia, but I kept having these struggles with my groin injuries and different operations and so on and so on. So, after that long ride in the East Coast League and in the American League, I decided to go back to Europe. And Q was one of our I get the card up, and he was one of the leaders of that team. He had been there for a long time. Just a really, really good person, and great guy in the locker room. And obviously we can't get into too many stories and stuff like that, but it was just another. We had a lot of fun, and it was a great team, and we had a lot of talented hockey players there, and again, it's just a great overall experience.
And he knows what he's talking about too, much like yourself. You have the experience,
of course,
played it.
This guy, Northern Ontario guy too. Really down to earth. Down to earth, and some. It's funny. You move away from Sault Ste. Marie maybe things have changed a little bit now because the world has changed. But when I moved away, I was 16. I drafted in Belleville, and I was from Northern Ontario and Sault Ste. Marie, and you sort of hook up with kids from other different regions or different countries or whatever. But when you can get a kid from the Soo on your team, or a kid from Elliott Lake, or even
Northern Ontario,
even Sudbury or North Bay, it's like, holy shit, you go to, oops.
There you go, there it is. It's all good, that's good. That's okay. That's the word you use, though.
Exactly. And then I still remember going as a 23-year-old, we can go back, I can tell stories forever, but, I came back from Italy when I was 22, and John Brophy called me, he says, you want to come and play? And this is in Hampton Roads, and Norfolk, Virginia. And then I'm like, well, who do you have? And he's like, well, we got Ricky Kowalski coming, and we got Trevor Halverson here. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm coming.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
And you got Killer.
They're a good time.
Killer was coaching the New Jersey Devils right now.
Yeah, he is. Well,
He's coaching New Jersey Devils, and Trevor Halverson's from White River, but grew up in Sault Ste. Marie. And I'm like, oh wow.
I'm coming. I'll be there. When's the next flight?
And that's the way it works. You get the people that you're familiar with, and you have a lot in common, and it just makes the transition a lot easier.
Absolutely. And Dougie is, just say with him, he was definitely a good guy to be honest.
Of course,
he was for sure.
Of course, and you know what? That year he was. It might have been his last season, believe it or not. I can't remember if he played another season or not. If he did, he might have went down to. He was older at the time, and just a great leader. A lot of younger guys on the team, and someone that you can look up to.
Yeah, he's even when he had the players' attention right away as soon as you went in the locker room, because when you have that stature as a player, despite if it's in the NHL or over in Europe, doesn't matter. You earn that respect. Exactly. Much like yourself, you're doing well with the Thunderbirds. So, Johnny, you and I are going to get to know each other very well this year, obviously, working closely. So we're going to have a lot of time to do more interviews pre and post game. When they're on that, I'm sure we won't be talking too many stories, but we'll have you here live on location from the Northern Superior Brewing Company again sometime soon as well. I know, like I said, you won't be a stranger to the show this year because I'll be bugging you a whole bunch. So I want to say thanks for coming on by tonight, though. Justin, do you have any final thoughts or questions? I guess I should let you hand off the football to my running back once in a while, eh?
Yeah, it's all right. I've been fascinated just sitting here and listening. These stories are killing me. I'm rolling over it.
So, Johnny, thanks again for coming on by, though. We'll be in touch more this year. Absolutely. When we come back, Justin and I are going to spend about 12 minutes, maybe 10, 12, who knows, talking about the Sault Greyhounds quickly, the National Hockey League, and the Boston Red Sox winning the World Series. Yes, people forget that on the Thursday show we also talk baseball. It's not just hockey.
Baseball.
Yeah, we're going to be right back as you hear from our sponsors. When we come back, Justin and I will talk some local hockey still, along with some professional hockey and baseball reaction on the World Series. Don't go anywhere. I'm here at the John Rhodes Community Center with the head coach, John Parco. You're going to be on the show this Thursday, so we're going to be recording this right now, though. You just had a big weekend. 4-3 big win over Hearst yesterday. Tough game, is what I was told. And then obviously today, 3-2, squeaked out another victory there. Talk about how the boys played this weekend.
You know what? We first of all, we battled hard. Like, we really wanted to win both games, and I think that was the difference in the end. We really grinded it out, and they were both tough checking games and equally played by both sides. Both teams could have won either of the nights, and we grinded them out. So that's a sign of a good team, and that's what we want to continue to do.
See, today you went up into the third period, up 2-0. Then they got 2 goals with you, one later in the third period, but you got one late in the third. Lucas Theriault, nice pass from Bears, and it's, good teams find ways to win. That's always been the motto. But what do you think caused for them to battle back in the game, but then ultimately for you guys to come out on top?
You got to give them credit. They kept getting pucks deep and pressuring our D all night, and they, they worked hard and they forechecked us hard, and when you would put teams under pressure, eventually you're going to get a break, and they got a couple breaks. So.
Matthew Bears, and I want to talk about him for the guy. I was even talking to Trevor about how his size and how dominant that he is on the ice. Obviously, a lot of credit goes to Lucas Theriault and the entire team, but really stand out the size that Bears was using, that nice play to look to Lucas to get that game-winning goal. You must be very proud with the performance since acquiring him.
You know what? We're ecstatic for Matthew. He's come here and we put him in a role where we want him to play hockey, maybe for the first time in his life. We feel that he's a hockey player, not just a big physical guy, and he's been getting better and better every game. So I'm happy that he's having some success.
See, one thing before I let you go, I want to touch on the previous weekend that you had the experience out of town, in the United States for the college tours. I know we're going to talk about it on the show a little more extensive, but how do you think that really assists coming into this weekend? And obviously with the big wins this week, you move back on top in the Western Division, but obviously going down there's a great experience for the kids, and maybe coming down to play this weekend, it was that extra experience that you had to come through to get the W for the 2 games.
Definitely. Besides the fact that it was a great team unity thing, we were together for 3 days. We toured some campuses together. We ate together. The guys stuck around, hung around all week together. The other thing was the fact that the hockey was at a higher speed, so we had to really move we had to get everything. We had to do everything quicker. We had to skate quicker. We had to think quicker. We had to move the puck quicker, and I think that really helped us. Definitely going into the Rayside game where we had a really, really good game where everything was just clicking, and then these last couple of games when you do things at a faster speed, it just helps you, right? Yeah. So it definitely helped us.
And the pink jerseys look great. I think you might have to wear those a bit more, especially getting the W.
Yeah, I know it's for a great cause, and the boys always like something different too. So
absolutely. Well, we'll see you later on this week. Thanks for the time here, Johnny, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank you.
I'm here with Lucas Theriault, who scored the game winner here tonight, 3-2 win over Timmins. You had a successful weekend. Went up 2-0 on the weekend. You defeated Hearst last night. You come in and defeat Timmins here. How do you feel the boys played this weekend?
I think we just kept our composure the whole time and worked really hard, and we got 3 wins out of it. So it was amazing.
Absolutely. The game-winning goal that you got, nice pass from Matthew Barazan there. What were you thinking when you got that puck on your stick? Did you know you were going stick side? Did you know where you want to shoot it right away?
Well, I did see stick side open, a little low blocker there, so I just waited a little bit to see if it was still open, and I fired it in. So it was, yeah.
So you had the weekend last weekend that you had away in the United States. You come back in here. I was just talking to Coach John Parco about that. The experience you guys had, the team unity, all the events you had really grow as a team. Out here, you said that you guys are playing really well, really fast. You played two very tough teams. How can you carry the momentum forward going into next weekend where you're on the road?
Well, just do honestly the same thing as this weekend. Just work on our systems during practice this week, and just work hard, and hopefully we'll get 3 out of 3 next weekend.
Absolutely. Last thing for you, Luke, before I let you go. Near the end there, things get a little testy. That's how games usually go when you're up 3-2. How do you hold your composure yourself as an athlete when it comes to, especially being a star player like yourself, really watched by the other team and coaches make plans to when they play against you? How do you keep your composure so you don't get absorbed into that? Sorry.
Well, I just think of the team. I mean, for 5 minutes left in the game, we're up by a goal. I mean, there's no reason for me to go out and do something that shouldn't be done. And so in order to get the win, I just keep my composure and stay,
Congratulations on the wins this weekend. Congratulations on the game-winning goal, and we'll be talking soon.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsoo.as.me-. The Salon, making the Soo beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop for over 40 years meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, it's Craig Hartsburg, former NHL player and NHL coach. Welcome to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, alongside Justin Hykel. I want to say thanks to both our guests, Kevin Cain and John Parco, for coming on by. We're in the final part of the show tonight, where Justin and I are going to talk a little bit about the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, the National Hockey League, and the Boston Red Sox, just briefly in the terms of Major League Baseball with our reaction of the World Series. It's going to be yours truly, spearheading the Sault Greyhounds part here quickly, as we only have about 8 minutes left on the show. We did use some extra time for our guests, which is obviously a priority to make sure we have special guests as such come on by. Talking about the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, just to get right underway with it, the Sault Greyhounds won 9-3 last night against the Flint Firebirds. Flint still having a very difficult time. And then earlier than the weekend previous, they had a big 7-4 win over Kitchener, but they had an overtime loss to Guelph as the Sault Greyhounds continue to play very good hockey. And this weekend, Friday the 2nd, they are at the GFL Memorial Gardens. They play Guelph again, the team that they lost 4-3 to this past weekend. And then Sunday, they play at 2 o'clock against the Erie Otters. Going into this weekend, after a good showing against the Flint Firebirds, getting very offensive output, the Sault Greyhounds have to, I think, resort to playing a bit more defensive side and a bit more capitalizing on their chances when they play against Guelph this weekend. And when they play against Erie, it's just maintaining that momentum that hopefully they can carry from the Friday game. Again, the Friday game is at 7:07 at the GFL Memorial Gardens, and Sunday is at 2:07 against Erie at the GFL Memorial Gardens. So make sure you go out and enjoy some good Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds hockey. Barrett Hayton, Sam Brook, you got Frost, you got some great talent there to watch with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. And what else can I say about the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds? This year everyone had question marks about who was coming back and what was going to go on with the Ontario Hockey League's last year's champions. But you know what? Despite losing to Hamilton, I still think a lot of guys who came back are hungry. The Greyhounds are tops in the Western Conference, 5 points up on Guelph with an 11-3-3 record. So it's definitely a lot of good hockey to still be watched here in Sault Ste. Marie. Moving quickly here, as like I said, we only have a little bit more time. We're going to jump into the National Hockey League, and we're going to start here with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Justin, I'm going to slide over to you. Austin Matthews. That injury, will it hurt Toronto? Obviously, okay, let me reframe. Obviously, it's going to hurt Toronto. It's one of the best players in the world. But is Toronto deep enough with Tavares and Kadri to be able to contain this for the next 3 to 4 weeks? Because to be honest with you, I am a little bit nervous that they're going to be able to keep up with it because, yes, Tavares and Kadri are good. Okay, but Nylander's not signed yet. There's some question marks there that, if he was there, it may be a different layout and depth. Does Toronto fans, not that they worry, they're still going to be a very good team, but is this going to kind of set them back a little bit?
And don't quote me on my numbers here, but I'm pretty sure last year over his series of injuries, which was I think, 13
Yeah,
games
something like it was close, yeah.
We went 7-4-1.
So without Nylander there, but adding Tavares, you can maintain that impact?
I don't see
and Bozak not being there.
Okay, this is an issue I've had all season, and I have to look into the numbers a little bit to confirm my suspicion. But I think with Bozak gone, we've been getting killed on face-offs.
Yes, right?
Not necessarily killed, but I don't think our face-off winning percentage has been nearly as high as it was in the previous seasons.
Yep.
With subtracting Bozak and adding John Tavares. I mean, we didn't bring John Tavares in as a face-off specialist.
No, I don't think so.
I'm getting a little off topic with what we're going with here.
Yeah.
But I really do think that adding John Tavares, putting added pressure on Kapanen, putting added pressure on Andreas Johnsson,
especially Andreas, man. The guy does have to pull up his socks.
Well, that's just it. And I think, I want to say putting added pressure on Josh Leivo, but I think given the minutes that Josh Leivo is averaging 7 minutes a game, I think he's performed adequately for that 7 minutes a game in between the two lines.
Yep.
Fourth and third line that he's been playing on, and he's been bouncing between left and right wing.
While
While switching out.
He's been in on the lineup, bouncing wings, bouncing line mates. The guy has to adjust.
I think he's been doing okay, and I really do think it's only fair to give Josh Leivo some top line minutes. In places. Is Zach Hyman on the top line?
Yeah, Zach
on the second line.
Yeah,
that's how that's going. So why wouldn't you? We're running into some issues where we're getting squeezed off the puck.
Yep.
And what I've noticed so far this season, that the Leafs have played, when we're playing lights out, the guys have the puck and they're playing with this confidence, or we've got the puck, we can take the puck whenever we want, we're going to score whenever we want, away you go. And the first time I really noticed this change was in the St. Louis game. It might add to a relatively poorly coached St. Louis team so far this year.
Yep.
Where the Leafs were just getting bullied around. And
we're not used to seeing that.
St. Louis doesn't have a fascinating amount of size. That's, and we just started to get pushed off the puck, started getting pushed around.
Yep.
And then, we played well against Winnipeg, both games against Winnipeg, but Winnipeg was physical.
Yep.
Matthew's shoulder, which is a very obvious shoulder separation to me.
Yeah.
Just getting, I don't want to say just getting bumped, but there's going to be shots like that in the playoffs. Jacob Trouba's thrown out all over the place, and it's not going to separate everybody's shoulder.
No.
I don't know. To answer your original question, I think we're going to be fine.
I hope so. The Leafs are in action right now as recording, down 1-0 in the second period, midway to Dallas. Dallas just scored.
I think we're going to be okay.
But moving on from the Leafs quickly, or I will say quickly before we move on from the Leafs, sorry, Matt Nylander, something has to get done there to improve this team or get him in that lineup. I think this is enough. It's enough here. And that's not a shout out to Dubas by any means. That's a shout out to Nylander to say, if you want to play hockey, man, play hockey. That's my shout out to him. I wish we had some more time to talk about Toronto, but we're going to move on from that and save that for next week. A couple more points in the National Hockey League I want to touch on before we go. We got about 3 minutes left. Jonathan Quick, out for 3 to 6 weeks. Big injury loss for Los Angeles, Justin. They need a goalie if they want to maintain relevance in the league. They are really struggling outside the gate. When you miss your starting goaltender and you have Peter Budaj or Jack Campbell leading the way, that's a lot of question marks despite that offensive power in LA.
I thought Jack Campbell's played okay.
Yeah.
Given
good enough to win, though? Obviously not good enough to win.
Not good enough to win thus far, but I don't think he's played terrible.
No.
And I don't think Jonathan Quick would have played substantially better in the situation.
See,
It was reversed.
I think LA is struggling based all around.
LA is all around struggling, but LA is struggling because they cap fudged themselves
and
years
they're
ago.
Screwed now with those players.
Well, and that's what they are. And Chicago did the same thing. This is kind of what Kyle Dubas needs to look into the future. Use his crystal ball a little bit and go, I don't want to fuck myself.
Yep.
In the future.
Nope.
That being said, touching back on the Leaf nonsense, but we've got contracts coming off the book. But Jonathan Quick, I think maybe this is an easy separation for LA now at this point, to maybe not rely on Quick so much into the future and maybe realize we should start parting out the team a little bit.
See, and now LA is, that's a good example of Toronto. Probably should watch, put themselves in a contract bind for sure. Teams that did things right with contracts was Chicago and, why am I drawing a blank? Chicago. LA did before, and LA did before, but it's...
if you want to take a look at an interesting contract situation, look at the Dallas Stars.
Yep.
Jim Nill was on Hockey Central at noon the other day, and one of the interesting points I took from him was that you, as a general manager, you allocate so much of your salary towards your AAA players, like your guys that you need, and then you have the rest. And like he said, it's no knock on the guys that are filling out the bottom half of your roster, but there's, like he said, there's almost an upper and a lower class in the NHL.
Yeah.
And so these guys are going to get this much, and these guys get the rest. And that's just the way it has to be, and that's the way your team has to be in the NHL now going forward. Just as a general manager, your job is to find that balance.
And that's one thing of the cap era. It makes hockey interesting. Helsinki, Laine and Barkov stealing the show in Finland, and obviously Paul Maurice getting asked weird questions by the media.
Laine showed who was the daddy.
Who's going to be your... Remember, Paul, if you look at this interview, Paul Maurice gets asked, is Laine going to make Barkov his daddy this weekend? Now, if you're Canadian, maybe North American, you're thinking of that like, oh, is that a sexual reference? I don't know.
No.
But it's not. It's Paul Maurice had no idea what the guy was asking, but it was quite funny. He's very excited for the week. I like this. Is good for Finland to have games out there. I am a fan. I don't know if you consider those home games, but obviously for Laine and Barkov, they are very good
had
hockey.
3 goals today.
Yeah,
Barkov
and 3
had
goals.
assists.
Exactly.
So Laine is the daddy.
Yes, hat-trick. Got a hat-trick today, and he was the daddy. Solani dropped the puck at middle there. Now, moving on quickly from hockey, just to touch baseball quickly. Justin, this is what I'm asking you. Baseball wins in Boston. Boston gets another championship. We're not going to talk news here based on MLB because we do not have time for that currently, as we only have about 92 seconds left on the show, apparently. So let me tell you right now, Boston wins their championship. Congratulations to the Red Sox. Well-deserved. Good team. But baseball is one of those sports where you can buy players. Red Sox are a very deep team, but they did groom a lot of guys in drafts. Mookie Betts and Benintendi, David Price, they acquired Sale. They made moves to make this team good. And congratulations to the Red Sox.
What I take from this is that the Red Sox are going to be a problem for that division going forward because the Red Sox entire outfield, which is horrifying, is all on entry-level deals.
Yeah.
So...
And they win again as another dynasty team.
Moving forward, Tampa Bay Rays, New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays. Bend over.
I like that. You know what? I'm going to leave it at that. Blue Jays introduced a new manager, though. Things are promising with the young guys, but I think we're a little bit behind the Red Sox, let me tell you, especially if you're a Toronto fan. Now, that's going to do it for us here on the Game Sports Show. I want to say thanks to our sponsors, Northern Superior Brewing Company, Sports Center, Wicked Sister, Pingator Cleaners, Northern Critters in Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, Superior Pro Shop, The Salon, Discover the Canvas, Ken Boulanger Hockey, Northern Signs, Eagle 95.1, and the Soo Thunderbirds being partners here as well. Definitely want to say thanks to our sponsors and to you, the listeners, for making us a part of your night here tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed our action-packed show with myself, Justin, and with our guests, Kevin Cain and John Parco. Make sure you follow the show on the Podbean page and the Facebook page and Instagram page. Make sure you keep an eye on that Facebook page this weekend, as well as we're going to be releasing a question for your chance to win a free prize. The prize will be courtesy of Sports Center Bar and Grill, which was just named the Soo's Best Sports Bar for the 3rd year in a row. You have a chance to win a large pizza and some prizes from Sports Center, so make sure you keep an eye on the Facebook page with that. Myself, Scott Nason, EJ Russell, and Butch Davis, as I do plan to be there this Monday at the Wicked Sister. They'll be live 6 to 7, pre-recorded 7 to 8. Myself, Justin, Jamie, Dustin, and Dane, and Matt will be on location at Sports Center next Wednesday with a big panel. Might have some guests as well that we'll release on Monday. And then next Thursday we'll be here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. 9 o'clock Wednesday at Sports Center. Next Thursday will be 7:15 here at Northern Superior Brewing Company, as we plan to have Craig Hartsburg, who is no stranger to the show, on the show next week, along with some hopeful Thunderbird or Sioux Greyhound guests as well. So keep an eye on our ticker for that. Once again, thank you for making us a part of your night. And until next week, keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.